Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Yin practice. For props for today, a soft block will come in handy and maybe a couple hard blocks as well. We'll get started in a seated meditation. So if you want to sit cross-legged or any other way, if you want to sit up off of one of your props, then go for it. And just take your time to find any comfortable seated position. And settle the hips in here. Gently lengthen the spine. And soften into your shape. As with all the poses that we'll do today, if at any point this one stops feeling comfortable or if it starts to feel painful or anything like that, then you can back out or change it up. Otherwise, as you're ready, come and find stillness in this shape. Maybe closing down the eyes. Maybe softening the breath. Quieting the mind. And see if you need a little more time in stillness here, and you're welcome to stay. We'll be in a seat a little while longer, so if you want to switch the cross of your legs, then go for it. If you need to change your pose altogether, then go for it. Wherever you are, take a moment to lengthen the spine here, and then turn the head towards the right, and then start to dip the chin in towards the chest until you find that nice stretch for the outside of the left side of the neck, maybe even into the left side of the chest a little bit. And it might require you to move the chin in or out a little bit. So just play around and find your expression of the shape, the one that gives you that best stretch for the left side. A few options if you'd like to add on here. You could either reach the left fingertips down towards the floor over to the left, or maybe a half bind, you can reach the left hand over towards that right hip and see how that changes the sensation. If you want to add a little more weight to the head without pulling, you might reach the right hand up to catch it. Finding your pain for expression, if you start to feel anything sharp, electric, anything like that, whether it's neck or shoulder, back out. Otherwise, settle in here. If the right hand is lifted, you can lower it down, releasing the left hand as well. Bring the chin in towards the chest, nice and gently. And then just a couple of times, roll the head left to right. When you're ready, you can lift the head up to center. Then turn the face over towards the left. Start to round the neck, bring the chin towards that left side of the chest. And this side might feel a little different, so again, play around with where the face is pointing. Find the best stretch through the right side of the neck, maybe into the right side of the chest. Spine stays tall here, and if you added something on with the arms, you can find the same expression here. If this side needs something different, then that's fine too. Maybe right fingertips to the floor, or find your half bind. Maybe left hand to catch the head. Can gently release the right hand as you're ready. Release the left. Bring the chin in towards the chest. Just a couple of times, roll the head side to side. And when you're ready, lift the head back up, stack it on top of the spine. Soften the shoulders here. Take a brief pause just to check in. When you're ready, if the eyes are closed, you can flutter them open. And we'll set up the next shape. So for this one, I suggest having your hard blocks flat near the top of the mat if you're using them. You can also use your soft block. And then swing the legs around. We'll come through a tabletop position. And we're going to set up for puppy dog pose. So for this one, set up like you would for a tabletop. So the knees are roughly underneath the hips. Find your version of this, whatever feels the most comfortable. And then think of child's pose with the upper body. So start to dip the chest towards the floor. And then one option is to stop right here. You can rest the forehead on the blocks. And then another option is to bring the elbows up onto the props, and you'll work with bent elbows for this. So bringing the elbows down, palms can be together here. And again, you can bring the forehead to rest it on the edge of the blocks. And you can play around as well and see sometimes walking the elbows forward a little bit or having them a little closer together can feel like a better stretch. The fingertips can stay pointing upwards, or if you bend a little further, maybe they start to point kind of behind you. Notice if the knees are still happy wherever they are. If they need a little extra padding or if they need to be adjusted, then go for it. As you're ready, you start to quiet down the body and the shape. Let the spine be really heavy. Breathe here. If the elbows are bent, you can gently start to extend the arms and slowly backing your way out of the shape any way you like. You can move your props off to one side and then see what feels good for the shoulders here. Maybe you can press back to child's pose for a few breaths. Maybe you want a few rounds of cat-cow to release. And take the next 5 or 6 breaths wherever you need to be. And when you feel ready to, we'll lower down all the way down to the belly. And cactus the arms off to the side. And then keep the right hand as it is, but change the left hand so it's fingertips down and elbow up. And then left or right elbow, right shoulder are all kind of in line with each other. And then start to press down through the left hand as you open the chest open towards the left. Now check in here to see what you need. First of all, if there's any pinching or anything like that through the right shoulder, you can back out. The other option for the pose is to have the right arm extended out towards the right. So if that feels like a better stretch, then go for it. And then stacking the left leg on top of the right, that might feel good. You can also hover or step the left leg behind the right. You can also touch it down in front. If your head is hovering uncomfortably and you want to add a prop for support, then go for it. If everything feels secure and you want just a little more sensation here, you can also think about de-weighting the left hand, maybe taking a half bind once again. And quieting down into your shape here. Maybe closing down the eyes. Breathing here. Awesome. If the left hand is somewhere other than the floor, bring it back down and then slowly unravel out of the shape the way you came in. Before you find the second side, we'll just take a pause. So you can either stack the palms, maybe rest the forehead, or if you want something active to release, you could tent the fingertips and maybe take a few rounds of cobra. And when you're ready, we'll set up for the second side. So you can start by cactusing your arms. Left elbow roughly in line with the left shoulder and the right. And then you can stay here or bring the right fingertips to the floor. Let's start to press the chest and open it towards the right. This side may feel a little different, so again, you can play with having the left arm extended if that works better for you. You can hover the right leg or touch it down. Release the head down so that it's comfortable, maybe adding in a prop. And again, right hand can stay to the floor. If you have space and it feels good to take a half bind, then go for that instead. Finding your pain-free expression and breathing into it. Gently backing out of the shape, releasing the right hand, releasing the right leg. Coming to lie on the belly and pause. Choose stillness, maybe some cobra, or if there's something else you like to release with. Awesome. From your belly, as you're ready, start to walk the elbows in underneath the shoulders, and we'll set up for Sphinx pose. So for your Sphinx pose here, just take your time to find something that feels comfortable. Elbows can be underneath the shoulders. They can also be further forward, especially if this is too much of a back bend. You also have some hard blocks, so if you want to prop the elbows up, that can change the shape for you as well. I'll also talk through the seal option. So for this one, you have the hands to the floor, and then you have the elbows extended so that they're lifted up off the floor. This one will be more intense as well, so make sure it feels okay for the low back. Notice as you extended the arms if the shoulders shrugged up, and see if you can keep them relatively soft. Wherever you are, make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If there's any prop that would make the shape feel more sustainable for you, then take your time to add that in. And maybe closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. As you're ready, find your stillness. If your elbows are lifted, then you can slowly lower them down. And wherever you are, let the elbows come wide, lower the chest all the way to the floor. And pause here, maybe rock the hips side to side a few times. And half frog can make a nice counter stretch, so you can slide the left knee up to the left if you like. And pausing here for a few breaths. If you slip the left knee up, you can re-extend the leg, and then we'll set up for the second side, so right knee towards the right. As you're ready, re-extending the right leg long as well. And from here, bringing one hand and then the other underneath your shoulders, and press up to a tabletop position. And from your tabletop, we'll transition to downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, lifting the knees, pressing the hips up and back. And take just a few breaths here. You might pedal out the legs, and pressing the hands gently into the floor. Awesome. And then step the left foot forward between the hands, and we'll turn all 10 toes to face the right. Setting up for like you would for a wide-legged forward fold. And then just check in here, notice where the feet are pointing and see if there's a better way to point them. So if you like to point them slightly in or slightly out, listen to the ankles, listen to the hips, and see what works best for you. You can always adjust it as needed. If you'd like to stay in a halfway lift position, you're welcome to stay right here. You can also use your blocks if the floor feels a little far away. Otherwise, think about hinging and folding over the legs. You can round the upper back, let the head be really heavy, and don't worry too much about what the shape looks like. We're using this kind of as a counter stretch for all the chest openers that we did before. So maybe you want to take the hands somewhere to the legs or down to the floor. You could also do earmuffs. Adding a little bit of weight to the skull, you can interlace behind the head or the neck. And see if having the legs a little more extended or a little more bent gives you a better stretch through the back of the spine. And finding your stillness here as you're ready. If you have a bind, you can gently release it, bringing the hands to blocks or to the floor. Kind of find a halfway lift. And then just wiggle the hips a little bit from side to side. You can alternate bending one knee and then the other. Awesome. And then any way you like to get there, you can bring the feet a little bit closer and lower the knees down onto the floor. Awesome. And then for your last shape, see where you want to rest. I'm going to rest in a kneeling position, and I might use some props for this too, a soft block between hips and heels. If you'd rather be in an easy pose like cross-legged, if you want to come to lie down, or if you want to come to child's pose, those are all good options as well. So see what you want for your last shape. Find something that feels like you can get comfortable in it, like you can get the body really quiet. Take your time to set up. Use any props that you have around. Taking your time to settle in. Let the body quiet down. Let the mind quiet down. Gently deepen the breath wherever you are. Now find a little movement here. If you're with me in kneeling, maybe rotating the wrists a few times. Maybe shrugging the shoulders up to the ears and then softening them down a few times. You can rock over to one side to release the legs out from under you. Maybe give the feet a little windshield wiper. Maybe give the knees a little tap. Wherever you are, when you're ready, you come and find any comfortable seated position using any props that you need. Settle the pelvis, lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders here. You can keep the hands where they've landed or connect the palms in front of the heart. Maybe bow the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste. My name is Nicholas, and if you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.